Hey there, welcome back to the vlog. Today we are having like the ultimate bookish reading book girly vlog weekend. On top of Saturday being Independent Bookstore Day, so all of our independent bookstores are having specials and celebrations, and obviously I want to visit as many as possible. We also have 2 town libraries doing their used book sales. So overwhelming in the best way, but the goal of this vlog is to hit 2 of the used book sales. We're going to one today and we'll probably go to one on Saturday. We'll also visit 2 to 3 bookstores because Rochester has a lot. So it's actually hard to pick where to go on Saturday, but I've got my friends coming along. We're looking for some used books for ourselves. We're also sourcing some books for a book swap and blind date with a book fundraiser that I'm preparing for. And besides that, we're just going to enjoy books and things and checking out bookstores. At the end of everything, I will show you the haul and we'll go from there. I'm not anti the entrepreneurial spirit, and I do think reselling books is an okay thing to do, but it is a very frustrating thing to show up at a book sale an hour after it opened to the public and basically all the inventory being wiped. There were so many books still, but none of them were like printed before. I think the earliest book that I picked up that looked decent was like 2018. All the resellers got there before me, so unfortunately it was not the best haul. I got a couple books. I picked up a couple puzzles, but disappointing. And it's annoying because that used bookstore in general, like when I'm just at the library and I go into their store, they have some of the best books. So I know it was good. I know they had the books I was looking for, but someone's gonna sell them on the internet for $10 instead of $1. Oh well. We still have a very bookish day coming up, so that'll be good. Book day. I'm very excited. It was so funny. Last night I was like just going through the list of independent bookstores that are like within a half hour of where I live, and there's so many, which is great because that's not the case in most places, but also overwhelming because I'm like, I want to go to all of them today. I want to support all of them, and that's just not feasible. We're hitting one independent bookstore together and then going to a used book sale together. And then from there, we'll kind of see what's left in the day. I'm hoping to go to 1 or 2 other independent bookstores and potentially hit like another used book sale. So very loose plans, but gonna be a very bookish day. I'm gonna vlog while we go along with all of it, and then I will show you guys what I pick up at the end. You could say it was a slightly successful bookish day. This looks a little crazy, but it's not that bad when we talk about what we got, why we got it, etc. As a reminder, not only am I working on refilling my own bookshelves because I have decluttered so much in my life that now that I actually have space and bookshelves, I actually don't own a lot of books. Not only am I working on refilling my own bookshelves, but I am planning a fundraiser for To Write Love on Her Arms at the end of May, which is going to be a book swap. And one of the components I want in there is that everybody who comes is going to be able to select a blind date with a book as well. So I've been collecting books that I think are worthwhile to be put into that category. So I'm looking for newer release books, popular books, the books that you just see everyone recommending, and I'm looking for different genres. I have been using a lot of my used book shopping right now to get books for the blind dates with the book part of my book swap. Everything behind me right now up here that's cut off, these are all books for the book swap, either going on the book swap table as options or going into the blind dates with a book. Let's get into the haul and see what we got. The first stop on my bookish adventures was a used book sale, and I did have my little moment afterwards where I was kind of frustrated because I was expecting a much bigger haul from this used book sale, but I did come out of it with 5 books. I picked up 2 books that I have read that I wanted to put back on my shelf, which is Eat and Run by Scott Jurek. This is a memoir about a long distance ultramarathon runner. I've read 2 of his books, and I am just very inspired by his take on running, eating, fitness, wellness journey. So happy to own this book again. And another memoir that I picked up is Eat, Pray, Love. I audiobooked this and loved it. Like, it's one of those things where I think it kind of sat with me for a while. I know this is a very popular book. Basically everybody who wants to read it has read it at this point. But for me, it's that interesting thing where I enjoyed it while I read it, and then I realized I sat with it a lot longer. Like, I still think back to this book, and it's been 2 years since I read it. So I was ready to put this back on my bookshelf. And then I picked up 3 books to put into the blind date with a book. We got Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. I picked up a Sherry Lapina book, Someone We Know. And then I have this book. I haven't read it yet, but I think anything that Jimmy Buffett has written is worth reading. So Salty Piece of Land by Jimmy Buffett. That felt like a good book to put into the mix for a read that people probably haven't read but would really enjoy. Today, the first place we went to was called Another Chapter Bookstore, which is in Fairport, New York, and it is like the cutest little independent bookstore. They have a good variety of new releases and, favorites, a couple classics. They have a good children's section. They don't have tons of copies of every book, but they have a lot of what you're looking for. I picked up one new book for my bookshelf, which is The Song of Achilles. I have seen a lot of praise for this book. I know it is a very popular title, and I'm just looking to kind of expand what I read that is popular, because I've kind of narrowed in on just like romance and historical fiction. And this is historical fiction, but it's not World War II historical fiction. So we're trying out something a little different. But I've just heard praises for this book, so I wanted to put it onto my TBR. And I just had a feeling that it was going to be worth owning. I also picked up a little magnet that says Eat, Sleep, Read Local. And that's going into one of my giveaway items for my book swap. Then I spent some money, but it was at a used bookstore, so it's fine. The next stop was called the Corner Bookstore, which is the used bookstore attached to the Fairport Library. And this is a store where most of the books in the store are going to be between $2 and $10. They price newer releases kind of $7, $9, $10, but they're usually worth it anyways, because there were a lot of popular new books on those shelves. So I went a little crazy, but not really. The biggest thing that happened was I bought the whole Harry Potter set. I have been audiobooking Harry Potter for the past 2 years. I don't own most of the books. I own one copy of The Philosopher's Stone that I bought while I was in London. And a couple months ago, I found a used copy of Goblet of Fire that is also a UK print. So originally I thought I would just try to collect all 7 books UK printed. But you know, I don't even know if I can pick them all up. If you're gonna get like almost an excellent condition used set, all paperback, all match, for $24, it felt like the move. So I now own the Harry Potter series, which I'm excited to put on the shelves. I love that they're all the same print, and I'll keep those 2 special editions, but now I just have all of them. So that's where the going crazy kind of looked, because I bought all 7 of these. What's funny is I know I'm keeping some of these books and some of these are for the swap, but I'm kind of undecided about one of the titles I got. So I know I'm putting Girl Boss into the book swap. I think it's a really fun story. There's there's a Netflix series about it. I try to put in more than just romance and historical fiction into the book swap category, so this one felt like a good one to add in. I think I'm gonna try to read this one first. Dial A for Aunties. I just saw a review about this book and it sounded awesome. I'm always looking for more of like comedic thriller, mysteries, dramas. If you can have, I guess, dramatic comedy as a category. This one seemed really fun, and so I can't figure out if I want to try to read it first or if I just want to put it into the book swap, because that's why I picked it up, but I kind of want to read it. I bought a lot of books for myself, but they were all used. I picked up Andy Weir's The Martian. I did not get Project Hail Mary. I want to try out sci-fi, and I feel like his books have been hitting and been popular for a reason, so I'm hoping that I enjoy The Martian. I picked up Rachel's Tears, which is more of a memoir nonfiction. This is a heavy topic. It is based on someone who passed away in the Columbine shooting. I read it when I was in college, and I just really wanted to own it. Something I can look back on, read again, and also share with other people. I'm getting more and more into Agatha Christie, and I've only audiobooked her stories, so I picked up Endless Night. I know nothing about it besides Agatha Christie wrote it, and it was $1, so I said, yep, we'll bring that home. The Comfort Crisis, nonfiction book, has been on my books to read list for like 2 or 3 years. I started reading it on my Kindle in the summer and quickly realized it was just too much for me to read when I was in my summer of like easy romance. But I really do want to read this book. So now I have it and I can pull it off my shelf, and it will be one of my morning nonfiction reads. This book that I picked up at this used bookstore was Summer in the City by Alex Astor. This was, first off, sprayed edges. First off, it's just a gorgeous book. Secondly, this one was hitting a lot of people's top reads last summer. So I got it for $9. It's in really good condition, and it's been on my to-read list. So I'm excited to dive into it probably in the summer. I'm going to add it to my summer TBR. We're almost there. I told you it was a haul. After that used bookstore, we went to the Brighton Library Spring Book Sale. Probably picked over, but I still felt like there were like a decent amount of books that were still interesting, just still relevant. And there were still like a decent amount of titles in there, books that I found interesting. So I picked up a couple books, some for myself and some for my book swap. I picked up a copy of And Then There Were None. I did read this one, and this was one of those books that really wrecked my mind and really got me into Agatha Christie. So wanted to own that for myself. Little Fires Everywhere. I can't remember if I own this or not. So I took the $1 risk of either I am having it on my shelf. I've read it twice. This is the thing where I've read it twice, mostly because the first time was audiobook and I literally forgot most of the story. So I decided to read it again last summer. And if I do own it, I'm going to put it into the book swap because it is a popular title. It is an interesting story. It's just not for me. I picked up To Tell the Truth. It is a large print edition, but It looked like a good kind of like thriller mystery that I wanted to put into the blind date with a book pile. And hopefully somebody enjoys it. Also for the book swap, the Jane Austen Book Club. I've heard good things. And I found a Blake Crouch book, Recursion, in the Book of the Month style. So that's also going into the book swap pile. After that, I just wanted to round out my day with 2 more independent bookstores to help celebrate Independent Bookstore Day. I went to the Unreliable Narrator in Rochester. The location used to be a bar called Knox, which was kind of like for the Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings book nerds anyways. The bar closed and then this bookstore opened in the space, and it's been a great fit. I love exploring it. They have a lot of things outside of just books. And one of the books that I've been wanting to pick up, I've been trying to thrift, but I cannot find a copy of. So I decided we're going to buy it on Independent Bookstore Day. This store has a whole collection of options. I wanted to get The Hobbit. I would like to read all of the Lord of the Rings books, I think. And so I figured I might as well start with The Hobbit and see if it grips me, if it brings me in. If it does, I'm going to read the whole series. If it doesn't, that's okay. But I wanted to give it a go. So they have beautiful copies of The Hobbit. They have illustrated copies. They have collections. They have a whole J.R.R. Tolkien section. So I picked up The Hobbit while I was there. I also picked up a little kind of like bumper sticker that says bookstore bound, and that is going into one of the giveaways for my book swap. The last stop of our adventure was the Siren and the Sea, which is one of Rochester's newer independent bookstores that opened, I believe, in the fall. And sometimes you just want to buy a book that you read that you loved, and that's what I did with Remarkably Bright Creatures. I think this is a really cute sprayed edge. I audiobooked this, and it was a really lovely story. The audiobook's amazing, by the way. So if you're not sure, care about reading or listening, listen to the audiobook. It's awesome. But then you're going to want to own it because it's a beautiful story, literary fiction, intertwined stories, multiple points of view. It handles a lot in a great way. It makes you love the characters and love the town. And also makes you love Marcellus, the octopus. So also just crazy to see an author with my name because Shelby is not a popular name. And here we are. Shelby Van Pelt wrote this. So that was the last book I purchased. And I also picked up a cute little puzzle that I'm going to add into one of the giveaways as well. Guys, that's it. That's the haul. I am now surrounded by books. So I hope you enjoyed coming along on my little bookish adventure. If you've read any of the books that I haven't read, please let me know which ones need to be a priority for myself. So thanks so much for coming along on this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.